A family was hiking through the Arizona desert, taking photos of the landscape as they went. At one point, one of them posed for a photo among the red rocks beneath a clear blue sky. The picture looked perfect, and they continued their hike without thinking twice. Later that day, after returning home, they shared the photos with friends and family. That's when someone noticed something they hadn't. Far in the background, partially hidden by rocks and bushes, something appeared to be lying on the ground. The shape looked disturbingly human, possibly wearing a green shirt. At first, they assumed it was bad lighting or a strange angle, but the longer they looked, the harder it became to dismiss. That night, no one slept well. No further updates were ever shared, and no related news reports could be found. So for now, all that remains is the image, and the hope that whatever was seen that day turned out to be nothing serious. This clip has been circulating online, with claims that it was found inside an abandoned car in the desert. The vehicle showed no clear reason for being left behind. There were no nearby roads, homes, or services. Whoever arrived in the car didn't leave with it. The footage discovered inside shows a woman at the site, but what happened after the video ends is unknown.
So I made it just in time for the 70-mile scenic.
No additional information has surfaced online. Who is the woman, and where is she now? Whose car was it? Does that mean it's a hoax, or is it simply an unsolved mystery? A group of hikers visited the Denver mine in Chipinque, Monterrey, Mexico, an abandoned site tucked deep into the mountains. During their exploration, they took several photos inside the mine, not expecting anything unusual. But while reviewing the images, something stood out. In the background of one photo, a dark, shadowy figure can be seen. The shape appears human, closely resembling a mine worker standing within the tunnel. According to local stories, the Denver mine is believed to be haunted by workers who lost their lives inside the tunnels years ago, victims of accidents during its operation. This has led some to wonder, was this figure simply a trick of light and shadow inside the abandoned mine, or could it be something connected to the mine's tragic past? Whatever the explanation, the Denver mine remains known among locals for strange and unexplained reports. In June of 1978, newlyweds Richard and Judy Wees were out prospecting during their honeymoon when they crossed paths with Ronald Gress in Nevada's remote Black Rock Desert. Tragically, Gress attacked them and even their dog, leaving them where they fell. A week later, another desert dweller, Peter Cashnot, came across the scene. Before he could get help, he too met a deadly fate. Gress lived alone near a hot spring, almost 50 miles from the nearest town. He had a long history of mental illness and violent behavior. Police eventually caught him about 10 days later. He was convicted on 3 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison, where he remained until his death in 2013. A TikTok video posted by user Nightmare Fuel shows a fast-moving figure crossing a residential yard in San Pedro. The figure enters from the side of the frame and stops behind a man sitting outside, using his phone, seemingly unaware of what's happening around him. The figure lingers behind him, and when the man scans the area with a flashlight, it appears to be hiding. Suddenly it runs past him and moves out of sight. The man then lifts his head and shines the light again, appearing to react to something. The clip has sparked debate online over what was captured on camera. It doesn't seem like just a person, since the man neither saw nor heard it as he should have, and the figure itself isn't as clear as the man. Yet its behavior also seems strange for a ghost. Ultimately, there really is no other clear explanation for what was seen. A photographer stopped his car near the Dera war forts, deep in the Pakistani desert. As he stepped outside to take photos, his dashcam continued recording. At first, nothing seemed unusual, but moments later, the camera captured something strange. A dark figure appeared on the road. There were no nearby vehicles, no buildings, and no reason for anyone to be walking alone in such a remote area, especially at night. The figure moved slowly down the road, remaining visible for several seconds. Then, just as suddenly, it vanished from view. Was it an elaborate setup, or did the dashcam capture something that shouldn't have been there at all? A Reddit user named Marcelin was hiking in the high desert when she stumbled upon a very unexpected doorway. It was located in the McInnes Canyons National Conservation Area near Fruita, Colorado, along an easy 3-mile loop trail starting from Devil's Canyon trailhead. The structure was built into the rock, and the inside was plain, resembling a small cave. But why was a doorway ever built there? During a hike on one of Colorado's Fortiniers, a Reddit user took this photo. Nothing unusual was noticed at the location at the time. Later, while driving away, they noticed something in the photo. A strange shape appeared in the clouds on the right side of the mountain. It looked like a face. The image was shared online. Most viewers said it was just a natural cloud formation. Some mentioned pareidolia, where the brain sees familiar shapes in random patterns. It was probably just a coincidence. In October 2003, Brandon Rumbaugh and Lisa Gieri left Scottsdale, Arizona for an overnight camping trip near Bumblebee Road to celebrate their 1-year anniversary, planning to return the next morning. When they didn't show up, friends and family went searching, and on October 18th, they found the couple dead together in the bed of a borrowed pickup truck, still in their sleeping bags. Both had been shot multiple times with a .25 caliber handgun, and the gun was never recovered. Nearby, investigators found a broken disposable camera with a few developed photos, including images of the couple and one mysterious shot of an interior light fixture that hasn't been linked to a location. No suspect has ever been identified, and the case remains an open and unsolved investigation, with law enforcement still hoping for clues to bring justice to this tragic mystery. A Reddit user shared a photo taken by her friend while visiting Grafton Ghost Town in Utah. It was pitch black outside, so they used night mode to capture the image. She believed she was completely alone. The area was silent and there was no visible movement. But when the photo was processed, a detailed, human-shaped figure appeared. Night mode records light over several seconds, meaning any movement during that time can appear solid in the final image. Still, the figure remained visible long enough to be captured, and then vanished without making a sound. Had they really been alone? To this day, they don't know how to explain it. In January 2020, a military member was stationed at a checkpoint near a Defense Forces base. One night, around 10:30 a.m., something strange broke the silence. A loud, unfamiliar sound began echoing across the area. It wasn't brief. The noise continued for nearly 45 minutes, finally stopping around 11:15 p.m. The incident was recorded, but the video was later removed for security reasons. Interestingly, another military staff member reported hearing the same sound the night before. The area around the checkpoint was examined for possible sources. There was a town roughly 1.5 kilometers away, a railway line, and a concrete water tower nearby, but none were active at the time. The night was completely calm. No wind, no construction, no military exercises, no unusual activity recorded. Under normal conditions, there was nothing in the area that should have produced a sound like this. A hiker known online as Reddit user Sensei of Sensi shared a short video after finding something unusual during a hike in Virginia. The footage shows a pictograph painted on exposed rock. A simple figure that many viewers online joked looked like an alien with a small body and a large head. But one commenter had answers. It resembled a kind of ancient rock art known from the Paint Lick Mountain Pictograph archaeological site in Tazewell County, Virginia, where Native Americans once applied red pigment to cliff faces to create symbolic images of humans, animals, and abstract forms. These pictographs date back long before European settlement and are rare examples of rock art in the region. The exact meaning of the painting is unknown, which has led some people to suggest that ancient people were drawing aliens. A Tesla driver was waiting in a small desert town at night when his car suddenly began sensing people nearby, even though no one was outside. But then, he saw this. A pair of glowing eyes stared back at him from the darkness, but he couldn't make out what it was. The car's sensors showed a person standing exactly where the glowing eyes were coming from. Unsure of what it was, he didn't stay much longer. Other Tesla drivers have reported similar moments. Some have seen figures appear in parking garages. Others found sentry mode recordings triggered between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. with no visible movement. In some cases, the cameras captured brief flashes, but no people or animals. The incident left several owners deeply unsettled. While camping deep in the California desert, this woman came across a strange and unexpected sight. A carefully constructed mound sitting far from any towns, roads, or marked trails. At first glance, it felt unsettling. The mound was shaped like a keyhole, with angel statues placed around it and no sign explaining its purpose. Very little information was available at the site, which led to speculation. Some wondered if it could be an ancient burial site. Others suggested it might be a forgotten Cold War structure. But after digging deeper, a more grounded explanation emerged. According to information shared by a BLM archaeologist who manages the area, the mound was most likely built by the owner of the Center of the World in Felicity, California. It was created as a memorial in honor of his wife. A hiker was exploring a remote desert in an unknown location when he spotted something unusual. In the distance, a narrow road led into a tunnel beneath one of the mountains, with no visible end in sight. Its destination is unknown. If the tunnel continues underground, it could stretch for hundreds or even thousands of kilometers. No official information explains its purpose, and the hiker was left wondering, is this normal? And more importantly, is it safe? A hiker was walking through Deer Creek Canyon when he almost stepped on a rattlesnake lying on the trail, mistaking it for a piece of rope. The snake was resting in the open as the sun came out, but the hiker noticed it just in time. The group changed their path and avoided the animal, continuing the hike safely with no injuries. Always watch your steps. In the middle of the Texas desert sits Prada Marfa, a tiny luxury storefront that sells nothing. Although it's a fairly well-known site now, many people who drive past it at night are genuinely creeped out by the sight of a small Prada store in the middle of nowhere. Some describe feeling as if they were tripping or stepping into another world. The effect is intensified by the way the lights flicker strangely at night, and some even claim to have seen ghosts inside. Installed in 2005 as an art piece, it displays handbags and shoes behind glass, but there's no door to enter. It's a surreal reminder of consumerism and a strange, lonely landmark in the desert. A Reddit user named Troy shared photos taken during a trip to an old mineshaft about 70 miles from the nearest town. At the time, nothing unusual was noticed. Later, while reviewing the pictures, they noticed a shape in the background. It looked like a human figure standing on a nearby hill. Some viewers thought it resembled a cowboy. Others suggested it could be a rock, a cactus, a bird, or a trick of perspective. No other photos from the same spot were shared. The image remains open to interpretation. While hiking near Truckee, California, this person explored the Donner Tunnels, a popular but deeply unsettling trail. At first glance, it's a beautiful hike, but the atmosphere feels heavy. The tunnels were carved through solid rock in the 1860s to build the first transcontinental railroad. During construction, workers faced brutal conditions, extreme cold, avalanches, and dangerous blasting methods. Many laborers lost their lives while carving these tunnels through the Sierra Nevada. What makes the location even more haunting is what happened nearby just 15 years earlier. In 1846, the Donner Party became trapped in the mountains only a few miles from this very spot. Stranded by early snowfall near what is now Donner Lake, the group endured months of starvation and freezing temperatures. Nearly half of them died before rescue parties could reach the survivors. Today, while hiking through the Donner tunnels, you're walking through a place shaped by immense human suffering. Now, if you're enjoying my videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps me creating new stories every week, and it means the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. While traveling through a remote desert area, this man came across an old well, carefully covered. Curious, he decided to investigate. When he removed the cover, it revealed a deep well, disappearing into the darkness. He leaned closer and looked down. That's when he heard it. A strange sound echoing from below. At first, the well appeared empty, but after the footage was brightened, something unsettling became visible. At the bottom of the well, multiple pairs of glowing eyes stared back up. The Black Crack is a deep fissure in Canyonlands National Park, Utah. It runs along the White Rim Trail and drops about 65 feet. Many hikers like to jump over it for fun, but imagine one misstep. The crack formed from erosion and ground movement that slowly split the sandstone over time. It is narrow, dark, and stretches across the trail. The Black Crack is known mainly as a geological feature and a hazard on one of the park's toughest routes. Access is controlled and permits are required. Would you jump over it, or maybe peek inside? Allegedly, someone came across this strange pigeon during a walk. The video shows a damaged bird whose body appears open, with rigid parts and wire-like elements visible inside. Many viewers have wondered what is going on, speculating that it might be a spy drone or part of a simulation we live in. However, the video provides no source, location, or date, and there is no verified explanation for what is shown. As a result, the footage remains unverified, and its authenticity cannot be confirmed. In 1960, a quiet stretch of the Arizona desert became the scene of a haunting discovery. A schoolteacher walking near Sand Creek Wash, close to the town of Congress, Arizona, came across the remains of a young girl. No one knew who she was. With no name, no matching missing person report, and few leads to follow, investigators gave her a temporary identity: Little Miss Nobody. For decades, her case became one of Arizona's most heartbreaking mysteries. Despite extensive efforts, investigators were unable to determine who she was. Then, more than 60 years later, advances in forensic science finally reopened the door. In 2022, investigators used modern DNA technology and genetic genealogy to identify the child. Her name was Sharon Lee Gallegos. Sharon was just 4 years old and she was from New Mexico. On July 21, 1960, Sharon was playing in her grandmother's backyard in Alamogordo when she was taken. Witnesses reported seeing her leave with a woman, possibly accompanied by a man, but at the time no clear suspect was identified. 10 days later, on July 31, 1960, Sharon's remains were found in the Arizona desert, more than 500 miles from her hometown. The distance between where she vanished and where she was found only deepened the mystery. While Sharon finally has her name back, justice has not yet followed. Her death remains under investigation and no arrests have been announced. After more than 6 decades, Little Miss Nobody was no longer nobody. But the search for answers continues. About 1 year ago, a man living in the high desert of Southern California noticed a figure early in the morning. It was walking beyond his property line, around 5 acres away. The figure appeared unusually large, estimated at 7 to 8 feet tall. Due to the distance, no clear features were visible. It appeared male and moved with a heavy stomping gait. The man went outside to observe and raised his phone. The figure then turned in his direction. He took a photo and went inside to inform his wife. When both returned outside, the figure was seen moving toward the nearby hills. They were confused. What was anyone doing around there in the middle of the desert? YouTube creator Jeremy Curl was traveling deep through the Sahara Desert alongside the Tida nomads when they came across something completely unexpected.
We've just found a Libyan tank way out here in the desert south of the Tibesti.
Half buried in the sand stood an abandoned Libyan military tank. The tank dated back to Muammar Gaddafi's era, its metal eaten away by rust, slowly being reclaimed by the desert. But that wasn't all.
We've just come across this lorry with a rocket launcher on the back.
Nearby, they discovered a military lorry fitted with a rocket launcher, still aimed skyward. Even more unsettling, nearly 1/3 of the rockets were still inside. The weapons appear to have been untouched since the 1980s. Far from any roads or towns, these machines had been sitting there for decades. Forgotten, yet still dangerous. Now, let's watch some more desert encounters together.